Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It is the regular meeting of the Bayview Water and Sewer District. It is Thursday, June 18th, 2026 at 3:30 p.m. I would like to start the meeting with roll call.
Charlie Loma.
Mark Thayer.
Mark Lewis.
Dan Tyndall.
Deanna Hoffmeister. Okay. Let's go through our action items, the consent calendar approval. I'm sure you have all read the regular and special board meeting minutes, monthly invoice list, regular and special bills as presented, and the May financial reports. If you have no questions on those, I would take a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Treasurer's report.
All right, so this month I'm going to be reviewing the profit and loss budget versus actual, because this will make up 50% of our fiscal year. So looking at the farthest right column there, you'll see the percent of the budget, and you'll know that we're on target if you see a 50%. So our certified fees are over. We have received a little over what we projected for the entire year. So that's a good sign. Our sewer fees are right on target with 50.35%. We've also received about 50% of our sewer inspection and hookup fees. Our water is on the lower side at about 44% total. That is because we've just started into our summer months, so I expect us to increase as we do our usage during summer, and it starts to get hot and people start to water. So we should see that number start to get closer to our projected budget figures. We received all of our water hookup fees and about 50% of the CAT fees. This month we billed for about 26,000 in sewer fees and received about 22,000, which is fine because all the other months we receive over. So people have been paying ahead. So they're just waiting for those to catch up. In total to date, you'll see that column that we have billed for 157,000 and we've received about 156,000. That kind of lines up with our delinquent accounts, which I'll get into later, but we are approaching certification season. So for water user fees billed, we have billed approximately 28,100 and we've received about 28,000. And then we did get a rather large certification user fee at almost $4,000. That certification pays for delinquent accounts. Smart Fair, just to get you up to date, once a year at the end of July we are able to run a report, and anybody who's delinquent, I can then take those balances and certify them to the county property taxes. They apply them to their property taxes, so when people pay their property tax, the county will cut us a check. It's our last ditch effort to recoup all of our fees. So that's really convenient because if we have just sewer accounts, we can't turn their water off in lieu of receiving those fees. Our only recourse at that point is to certify their unpaid balances.
We are not caught holding the bags completely.
Correct. So it's nice with our delinquent accounts. We have a very well-oiled machine that runs. We notify them if they're getting delinquent. If they don't make their payment, then we issue a turn-off letter and we shut their water off and then they pay. So it's just kind of an ongoing cycle that we do. But with just sewer accounts, we have to certify, then we can return their balance back to zero in July. And then most of the time people pay and sometimes they don't. But that's that process whenever I talk about certified or certification fees. Any question on the income side of things before I move on down to expenses? Overall, our total income is about 48%, so we're right on target there as we start billing for overages fees for summer. Moving on down to expenses, we are percentage wise under on our expenses for sewer at 31%, so that's good. I know that we have some upcoming expenses and projects that we want to do with the land app site. While it's down and working on the drain field, this operating season, that will allow us to get some of those other repairs and stuff done,
We're
so.
saving you $5,000 a month on chlorine too. up
Yeah.
there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Our water system expense is about 51%, so, just slightly over there, but on target. I'll continue to keep an eye out for those. I always like to have a little bit of extra wiggle room there for any emergencies and stuff, so we'll continue to keep a sharp eye on that one. Vehicle expenses under, everything else on down the list, except for dues and subscriptions, we just paid our annual QuickBooks subscription fee, so that's really common to see it at 73%. That'll even out since it's an annual payment. As the fiscal year goes on, we'll see that percentage get right back on track. Everything else is right around it. Postage and delivery is a little bit high. We'll keep that in mind for next budget period, but that's, a few $100s that we're talking
Which just
about.
goes up.
Yeah, everything goes up. We're not talking about thousands, so we're good there. Again, for assessment fees, does look like DEQ did increase our assessment fees a little this year, but again, we're talking a few $100s, nothing big. And everything else is right. Oh, accounting. That one was no, that is on track because we have paid for the entire fiscal year all of our accounting fees. So actually slightly under, since we won't be paying any more into that. But it was our legal fees, and that is around 270% of our budget. We did not anticipate the bond closing that we paid for. So that one was a hefty bill for sure. But
It is what it is.
Yeah. Overall, our expenses are sitting at 45% of the budget, so we are on track overall. Or actually under, so things are looking good there. For water and sewer expenses, we did do a pumping at Captain's Wheel. And then we had 2 other pumpings and 1 filter repair at about $1,300. And then we did pay $8,600 for the land app site analysis that we were doing up there, but still staying within budget, so that's good. On the water side, we did replace an oil pump drive at the generator, well 8. We had a leak on Spruce there in the alleyway. Dan, you remember that? You got shut off for that one.
Yeah.
And then an angle stop repair over on Pine Street. And then well 7, we did fix the master display. All of that was around $8,000 for those repairs. We had about $669 for that meter switch that we talked about at the last meeting. Our testing is high this year, as Bob explained, with the PFAS testing that DEQ is requiring. He'll probably get into that a little bit more in the operator side of things. And then, as mentioned, the dues and subscriptions was the QuickBooks annual. And then the accounting and legal fees that I brought up. So, any questions?
Good job, Jesse, thank you. That's a lot of work,
Yeah, lots of
middle
going on.
year and
Are we looking at, in the next 2 weeks, doing all the commercial pump outs for the 4th of July?
They're doing that this
They
week
will.
and overflowing into next week. Okay.
Yeah, we wanted to get a heads up on start on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we're
So the
doing
wheel
about
doesn't need
8
to
or
be
9.
done again, it's been done.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
done, so it'll be the other commercial companies,
Okay.
the marinas,
Mhm.
anywhere that gets a lot of business.
okay. All right, moving on to the operator's report.
Okay. Put that up here, this. Okay. So this reflects the month of May, which is over 10 million gallons produced by the wells. However, only 2 million gallons are registered to customer meters, worked out to be 134,000 gallons per day produced by the wells, and only 69,000 gallons per day registered through customer meters. It's the equivalent customer consumption of 132 gallons per day for service connection to 524 connections. Uncountable for water loss, 7,944,000 gallons for 79% of the wells. And to put this in perspective, last month, we had about almost the same within 30,000 gallons customer consumption in April. But the production was 3 million gallons less. And Bob, you and I talked about
Yep.
that. And you want to mention what we're doing now with Idaho Water and GPR? Do you want to, so because they're
I
calling.
think it's on the agenda for
It
later.
is, it's
Later,
under,
okay,
it's
okay.
under new
We'll
business number
address that
one.
later. Now you can see how it compares year to year. We actually, the wells produced less than they did last year, but we had a milder May than we did previous year. So this is just year to year comparison, 3-4 years ago. So the production isn't a whole lot different, but the consumption by customers definitely is different. So you can see it going on down there. From year to year, all around 10-11 million gallons, with the exception of 4 years ago, where it was less. Water system issues. Well, first of all, are there any questions on that? Or we make this, we can address that with questions when we're doing, discuss that over water and the GPR. Sounds good. Okay, Jesse, could you put up the annual water quality report? And I just want to highlight a couple of things on that. Down, go down to the towards the bottom of the first page, where it says, what does this mean? So I want to, this is going to be posted on the website, but I just wanted to, it's pretty similar from year to year. There's a couple things I wanted to highlight for you to help you in reading the report. And that is this first paragraph under what does this mean? The MCL, the maximum contaminant levels, are set at very stringent levels. To understand the possible health effects described for many regulated constituents, a person would have to drink 2 liters of water a day at the MCL or maximum contaminant level for a lifetime to have a 1 in a million chance of having a health effect from it. Okay, the next line is, as you can see from the table below, our system had no violations. I just wanted to take you to the beginning of it, Jesse. That would be page 4, the one that's horizontal first, just to highlight a couple of things to give you an idea. We test for over 80 plus constituents, but we only report any detection. So bottled water is going to have more detections than we have. But I want to give you an example where it says arsenic, which is naturally occurring. Our lowest level, our level was 4 at well 7 and 2 at well 8. Well, the maximum contaminant level is 10. So you can see we're well under it. When you have a definition of drinking 2 liters of water a day for a lifetime to have 1 in a million chance, there really isn't much of an effect. Now, all wells, especially that I find east of Highway 95 in Athol, will have some sort of detection. Some of the private ones are very high and people don't even know it. So that's not our concern. But if I were buying a home and on a well east of Athol, I would definitely have it tested. So you can see that there. Then on, as you look down at nitrates, 0.125, the maximum contaminant level is 10. So it's less, what, 0.1%? So we're in pretty good shape with that. And then radium, you can see the radium 228 at well 7 and 8. The maximum contaminant level is 5. We're at 0.029 at well 7 and 5.524 at well 8. So all that's to say is we still required to report constituents. We don't report all 80 of them because it's just the ND down the page and no one ever read it. That's what you and I see, Bob, when we look at the report. DQs, ND, or yes, no, kind of a thing. So we just highlight those. So
Well, I mean, even if you look at things like the arsenic that you mentioned earlier,
Right.
10 milligrams per liter, wasn't very many years ago, the MCL
it
was
was
50.
50. That's right. They just make
So
it.
they went to 50 to 10.
Yes.
And at 10, it's still, you have to do what Bob was just mentioned.
Right.
Have an effect.
Well, New Jersey's taking it down to 5, and there may be some others that might do it as well. It's kind of like, I guess the labs get the big winners out of this, I suppose, for testing it and developing equipment that can test that low, because that's been one of the issues we've had with PFAS.
Yeah.
And we might as well discuss that right now. That's the plastic chemical. All the systems are required to test for that. Groundwater systems are required to do it twice this year. The first 6-month period, which we have, and then the second month period, we have some surface water systems are required to do 4 times quarter. So it's $475 per test. Fortunately, we only have 2 separate wells. Well fields are nice because you only have to make 1 test for all the wells, but so we got test well 7 and well 8. And then, Bob, you and I probably have systems that have multiple wells, and it's kind of like
Oh, yeah.
the one system with 17 homes on it, and they have 4 separate wells. They're $475 a pop. Wow. So
Times 2.
yeah, times 2. That's right. Well, no, in this case, times 4, and then 10 times 2.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so anyway, but our water testing, we're in very good shape. You know, we're at the beginning of the aquifer, so there's certainly, I don't see any concerns on our end. At this point. So, do you have any other comments on the PFAS or anything, Bob?
What levels do they test those for, Bob?
Parts per quadrillion, isn't it? Yeah, see these, what you're looking at here is parts per billion or parts per million, like nitrates. This is parts per quadrillion. And I think one of the delays in getting this started was they didn't have equipment to test that low. So they had to develop the equipment first so they could test to find something.
And according to EPA, these are everywhere. They're referred to as everywhere chemicals.
Oh, okay.
And all the testing that we've done, they've almost all been non-detect,
Yes, that's correct.
but they're everywhere.
Yes,
At the levels that we're testing for some of these things that are
yes.
outrageously expensive
Well,
for, and this is not just us, it's all across the nation.
we had heard, we don't know if when it's gonna come down, but President Trump issued a like postpone or cancel the PFAs till 2031 because they felt it was unnecessary expense, but that hasn't come down from EPA yet, so we still have it.
I'm not sure what happened to that. I thought it
Yeah.
was gonna come through before now.
I thought it would have also. Anyway, that's what we've got there. Let me get back to see what else is on the report. Most of I think is on the rest of the report is on the main agenda. I do want to cover that. We've had some transient voltage surges from recent thunderstorms that affect both Jormore and Cape Horn Estates booster stations. Now, Cape Horn Estates, the last one we had was was pretty gnarly because it smoked out the fuse box, and it got so bad that we got Bigfoot out there to replace it, and it also zapped the capacitor and the pump motor out there, Cape Horn Estates. So they actually, Jesse, you just got the invoice for that, I think. Just got that all replaced out there. They replaced it with the new fuse box and controller that's where we can use the same 30 amp fuses. That's to be expected every once in a while with thunderstorms, but after that thunderstorm, it just rattled that thing so much that we had to call out on last Saturday. Then Stacy handled it Monday where it happened again. So I said it's time to get out here and get this dealt with. We can't keep having this go out.
Did you talk to them about surge protection?
Yeah, is there something that we could talk about? Not
I can
now,
talk to
but
more.
in the
Remember, this
future
is a
about
very
some type
ancient
of
system.
prevention?
Yeah.
So I'd like to
surge
talk to
protection.
him.
This has been happening.
Yeah.
Well, how many times since you guys been on board? I mean, it's
Sometimes
always
it can happen a couple
time.
times in 6 months, other times it'll happen 3 times in a week.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of fuses on hand for that, but I do need to talk to them. The other issue that's not on here because this report was issued before this next issue came up, and that is we've had problems with our communications. I'm getting overnight last night I got 24 false alarms, and the way I know it's false is it says line kiln booster 1 fault or something like that. Communications are at fault, and then it immediately gets back and it's all clear. So Bigfoot has been out, was out yesterday and today, and they're still working on it. They had to do a firmware update in communications, but anyway, we're working on it. It makes you nervous though, Sean, when I log in online and it says just moments ago the reservoir was full out at Monterey Pines, and then it says 0. So,
Oh, man.
you can't do that in seconds.
Our whole system needs.
Yeah.
This is in LA.
Right, yeah. So anyway, that's something we're still working on resolving there. It's been going on. Anything else popping up to on the sanitary survey action items? Nothing else there. Okay. Typical land application numbers. We're still waiting on, we've got a survey maintenance item for the parts to come in for that repair. That hasn't happened yet, but hopefully it's getting closer here.
It was supposed to be July.
Yeah, it was
wasn't
anyway,
it?
yeah. I just
July
kept up to
1st.
see you about that. And I don't know if this is up in either of these last 2 items, land app site update or timber sale and land app. I have no updated information there, but I just put it there in case it wasn't on the main agenda and we have anything else. Okay, and that concludes the operator's report.
Very good.
Before you move on, I hate to be that guy, but I do want, if you want to say something, Gianna, this time of year, when we get that report, I think it's important that we let the public know just how good, you did say, how good our water is. And
How
people who
clean.
buy bottled water, there's actually more
That's
contaminants and
correct.
such in this bottled water than smart is to get a metal water,
Right,
to drink out.
right. I don't know if we need approval of the annual water quality report, but it does need to get posted on the website as per DEQ.
It's on the agenda for official
Okay,
approval.
okay, thank you.
So maybe when we do post it on the website and make a Facebook post about it, we can just have a little blurb that talks about how clean and quality our water is. And
Well, think about it, where our wells are, we don't have to deal with pharmaceuticals,
Yeah,
like they do in the
Right.
cities, you know?
right.
Which aren't regulated or tested.
That aquifer is,
Yes. Mhm.
we're very fortunate.
Yeah,
Well, we're at the head end of it, so.
I was
Yes.
gonna say, and
Yes.
we're at the right end.
yes.
Right. All right, moving on to new business. Action item 1, water loss unaccounted for water, which is continuing to be on the increase. And I suspect, Mr. Hanson, you're going to talk about that.
Only in as much as I think it's absolutely mandatory that we get our act together and figure out what the heck's going on. At the rate the difference is accumulating, pretty soon we won't have any water left to serve people. So, but we have some things where we can, I think part of it's on the agenda a little further down. To try to identify this, people, I guess, for years, people have been trying to figure out what's going on there, and we suspect that the majority of it is the Navy base.
Mhm.
Some of it we're taking care of on our own, but it hasn't translated to make the numbers. We're hoping that changing out the old meters that are worn and putting new meters in would do some of that, because when meters get old and they're worn, they read low.
Mhm.
Not anywhere near this low, but
Yeah,
But we haven't changed out a substantial percentage of our meters.
even if we change that
That's-
5%, it should show.
I think we've even done 5%.
I
I
don't
mean, we're
think
going,
we-
we're going the other direction, so, I mean.
Yeah, truly,
So,
I still
truly.
think the Navy is the biggest one with 2 8-inch lines and a 6-inch line.
well,
that
that's
are
what we
monitored.
suspect.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Logan the other day. There's a possibility the Navy may have some meters in their parking lot,
Well, there may be one for the
a
6-inch.
meter or more, yeah,
meter, but I don't think there's any.
but. Or. I mean, as a group, we're kind of concentrating on seeing what we figure out there firsthand, and then
Yeah,
if we can. At least identify whether that is or is not.
Right.
What we have expected it to be,
and
and we
we
can move forward.
have gotten permission to go on base. Is that correct, Jesse?
Yeah, I tried to reach out to him the other day, cause he said he was gonna start working with me on getting the permission to get people. Bob's already, done what he needs to do to get back there. So we do have that, but I need to get Dion with IRWA, to get squared away there as well. So, I've been talking with Greg at the naval base, and he said that he was gonna get me stuff. I haven't heard from him, and then I did call and leave another message, and I haven't heard from him again, so I'll be on that, but I have been talking with Dion quite a bit with IRWA, Idaho Rural Water Association. And getting him back into the area. This was a very busy week for him. So I proposed some times and dates for next week, but he hasn't responded to that, I think, because it's a really busy week for him this week, so. We're actively working on it. We have a good group email going, so we're gonna keep really chugging away at that one, so.
So is working, when you say the Navy's working with us or saying they're gonna work with us, does that mean we need to get security clearances for
Yep.
people? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that doesn't happen overnight.
So, no, that one doesn't happen overnight. Luckily, there is some work and stuff that we can do outside of the fence, and so I just make sure to call him and let him know every time that we are, so that if he sees someone walking around with some headphones on and you know, a stick and scanning the ground, they're not alarmed, so. Just making sure I'm very much communicating with him anytime that we have anything going on or starting some investigation, and that's been going well, so. Not sure how long, do you know how long it took for your security clearance?
It's been a while and I need to re-up it also.
Okay,
But,
so,
it's gonna come through my son Robbie, who works there.
okay,
He's the one that does the clearances.
okay,
Well, I
So,
got, I
that
got
makes
a base years ago.
Yeah.
Through a very, very old security clearance that they
Mhm.
still recognize for some
Mhm.
reason. My opinion, they shouldn't have, but But I don't know if I could do that again.
Because of the time delay and that this is possibly our biggest loss of water, shouldn't this get bumped to an immediate priority?
Yes.
Yeah,
I would say.
it has. As soon as they informed me of their numbers, I could tell the urgency, which is why I've had IRWA on the agenda a couple times now. This has been something I've kind of been working with, like I reported the last meeting, I had Dion out here to do a customer thing and I let him know, hey, I'm really hoping that this naval base things catches real quick, and then they got some numbers, so I think it's caught, so. It is our number one importance, lots of phone calls into Dion, IRWA, and to Greg, the Navy base,
How
so.
often do you contact the Navy? Is it Dion?
The Navy base, his name is Greg.
Greg.
I called yesterday and left a message. I think that's the first time he's not been in the office. But I have not heard back from him yet, and I made sure to leave my email as well, so any of the non-office days, but I have not heard back from him,
Kind
but
of a weekly basis kind of thing, maybe?
yeah, at least Monday
Okay,
and Wednesday.
Okay, good.
So I don't know if he's out or away, but yeah.
He was
it's-
here Wednesday.
Okay,
Yep, he was out here Wednesday and I called the Navy base,
okay,
didn't talk to him, but left him a message.
okay. So, yeah, definitely number one priority, but it'll be a combination between doing GPR, ground penetrating radar, to locate lines, and then also leak detection services, so. So if one of the Navy baselines isn't leaking and we can't locate it that way, then at least we're working with the GPR, but.
We also have sonic testing equipment, well, we have sonic testing equipment, and Idaho Rural Water has sonic testing equipment, so lots of time. If it's too deep to be able to get the GPR to work. At these volumes that we're leaking, we might be able to hear it. Super sensitive. Sonic detection equipment, so.
And how likely is it that a particular marina or something might have an undetected leak that we're not knowing about?
They're metered.
There, yeah.
Yeah,
they're-
It would have to
So,
be an
we-
unmetered line we don't know about, which is.
That was sort of what I was
Yeah.
getting to.
And whether or
And
not
is
they're
there a
leaking,
way to detect that, an unmetered line that we don't know about?
or, yeah, or is our line that is metered leaking before it gets to the meter? Because that's a high consumption area, so.
Right. I mean, I think we have to look at all options to sleuth this out.
Yeah.
I think that, although I don't suspect, issue, I think that we should definitely have Dion look at all of the work that was just done, just to make sure that, you know, because sometimes if something's new,
Mhm.
something can kind of jar loose or whatever, so I think we should make sure first and
Yeah.
foremost that what we have just done has held.
Yeah.
And then work
Everything
from
And
we-
there.
specifically, what are you talking about when you say the work we have just done?
The water improvement project,
Okay.
you know, like they install
I
thrust
didn't know if you were
blocks and
talking
things,
broad
yeah.
general or something specific.
Because we
as
know
of
where all
recent
that
years.
is, it's super easy to run a quick leak detection thing down that,
Mhm.
to just,
Yeah, we don't
The
need to
quantity of
penetrate radar
meters.
for that.
yeah, don't, yeah, exactly, I mean,
It's unlikely
hasn't been-
because when they put in the new
very
lines, you're
unlikely.
required to pressure test them.
yes,
Yeah.
So,
but it's a quick. Walk up and down for the leak detection, and then we know for sure, okay, moving on to the next, which is, I believe, the Navy.
If
base.
we were bubbling out right before a meter, it's right next to the water, boy, that would be hard.
you think?
Yes.
So, yeah, that'll be up to you guys to come up with some hypotheses.
All right. Any more discussion on this, or shall we move on to number 2, which I think we're already talking about?
Yeah,
Well, I could. Make another stank. Needs to be, I don't know how much it needs to be said, or do I need to open up? An old wound, what was talked about, I know I don't wanna, I told you so. There was a lot of talk about just replacing meters when we first talked about water improvement projects and everybody wanted to go for spending millions of dollars. And how do you troubleshoot this stuff as you spend dimes and you start with these small things that make sense, and changing meters would have been one of the instances for troubleshooting our water loss. And it irritates me to no end that those people were shushed down, turned away, and told to shut up. Now we're dealing with it 10 years later.
Oh, okay, I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, well,
Okay, 10 years ago, okay.
I think we can go
I
back.
don't wanna rehash everything.
No,
but it
and
needs to
we
be.
shouldn't, and Ted brought it up last week, last
Mhm.
month, with his I told you so. So I think we can
Okay, I apologize. I
spend
will
time
back.
doing that, but we're never gonna get anywhere if we keep going back 10 and 8 and 7 years. None of us have been a part of it at that point. And we're trying to make positive decisions moving forward,
Correct,
and we are budgeting for more new meters.
correct.
And if stuff would stop hitting the fan that we keep having to spend money on, we could actually be moving forward on those. So I think we all agree, super frustrating that some of this stuff was done. I also think the public did vote on the water improvement bond.
We got what we're.
They, not this room, the public, the ratepayers voted for that. With all the information, which was voluminous in my memory of what it was intended for, and we all said yes as ratepayers. So I don't know, does anybody really want to go back and stomp that cow pie one more time, or
No,
can we move forward?
yes.
Okay. So utilizing the free services with Idaho Rural Water Association, that's kind of what we've just been talking about. It's very much combined with our unaccounted for water, which is hugely concerning. So thankfully, we're extremely fortunate that they offer that to us, because we could be paying a bucket of money to try and get some of this stuff accomplished. So it would just be great to know when we finally hear from the Navy, Jesse, about the timeline for getting credentials so that we get in there sooner than later. Okay, item number 3, lead and copper sample site plan. It just gets better and better, doesn't it?
This is another one. Yeah, we're looking at doing surveys right now on all of the houses that we have, and we talked about it at one of our meetings. I forwarded Jesse a copy of the survey that we need to do for our service line stuff. And we've been kind of pushing this down the road, and we still aren't in a panic for it. We have until next year, but we can't wait till next year to get it done. So I was hoping we could combine the two, which we had previously talked about as well, and include all of the information that's required on the lead copper sample site form for DEQ, right along with all of the information we're gathering anyway while we're out
For
there
the home inspection.
for the home inspection.
Right,
And so
so,
I'm not sure who's gonna add that in, but
yeah, cause I thought we talked about it last month.
yeah,
And that the form was being changed, so. The form that Logan uses when she's doing site inspections.
Yeah, so it sounds like Bob has made the formal request for Logan to be here a full third day on his side of things, more on the operator side of things. So I told Logan that since she's doing the inspections and stuff, that would be a great project for her. When she's here on that Friday to really start chugging away at those inspections. So I think her and Bob can work together to really hammer out that process and develop a site sampling plan and do the form and stuff, and Logan agreed, so.
Is
That
there
would be-
sampling required as part of that, or is it just,
no.
Yeah,
right now-
his company will do
right now,
sampling,
it's just the information.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm,
just the
Lead
inspection
copper
part.
sampling is a separate issue.
right,
Yeah, no, it's the inspections part, and then, yeah, working on the form and
Let me
then
make sure I
performing the
understand this correctly.
inspections.
We're going to develop the form that we're using Or we're just gonna add in the information we need for the
You-
lead copper.
So
We're just
you
gonna
sent
add
the
in.
sample site plan?
Yeah, I sent you a copy of the,
Yeah,
what's
well,
required.
then the form, yeah,
Yeah.
it
yes,
just needs to be updated to include what the composition is, that's, and then
So-
Logan will start doing the inspections to do that, we have to circle back around, like you said last,
So are we gonna update that?
the form?
Yeah.
No,
Have you
I'm saying-
updated it?
it's just simply adding in another line.
Yeah.
To checkbox, so, and then it's about actually
Yeah,
performing
well,
the
and the-
inspections,
I mean,
I mean, the
one-
form work itself is
The one big thing,
minutes of work.
yeah, the one big thing on there that we haven't been doing is the date that the place was constructed. Because anything after a certain date is considered to not be an issue.
1988, right?
Yeah.
But then there's a couple dates, 88 and 86, a couple dates prior to that,
Right.
and then anything before that is, so that, yeah, getting
Okay.
that date on there, we can eliminate a whole bunch of places. We Don't have to spend much time there.
Yeah, and I pulled back up some of the old forms when we very first started doing this. We had sent out a ton of forms to people for them to fill out. And on that form was anytime somebody participated in what year their house was built. So now I'm pulling up all those forms because we did save those and updating the spreadsheet with all those, but yeah, then it'll just, the time consuming part is just doing the inspections to reach the compliance, which I think Logan will be doing as her
But
third
we
day.
haven't modified the form yet.
No,
Well, no, that's just a couple, that's, that part I'm not worried about, that's super quick. It's, you update it with the words, it's the scheduling and getting the inspections done.
Okay,
That's the
First,
time.
we need the form update before we start doing that. And then we'll go back and all of the houses that were built before 1988, we can take a little better look at this. Some of the really old houses that were built back, like when my house was built, 1908, have some really old plumbing in them. And they've all since, a lot of them have since replaced it with the new PEX stuff, so. We just have to note that, and we can get them off the list as well.
until DEQ requires us to have PFAS added to lead and copper, in
Right.
which case if they've updated to PEX, we have a problem, right?
It's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
I brought that
Don't
up.
go there, don't go there.
You were at the meeting when I.
Oh,
brought
yeah.
that up. We said they wanted to all replace with plastic pipe. I'm thinking, well, PFAS is plastic. What happens
And
if?
you notice all this PFAS says they want it at the treatment plant. They don't want it out in the distribution system. You wonder why? Guess what's in the ground?
Yep.
It's kind of
Okay.
convoluted, but sorry to keep harping on it.
Yeah.
It's something we have to have done, or we're gonna be in trouble with the regulators.
Yeah, everything is always a bonfire.
Yeah.
A baby
I
water.
tried,
and sewer.
yeah, I tried to narrow my list of bonfires down to 3 or 4.
Yeah.
All right, wastewater permit renewal status. Has Mal Foster sent
I
what was required?
Well, the last information I have, and Jesse may know more about this than I do, is we submitted the information on the well, that everybody was really happy about it.
Right.
It was not in the zone of influence. And the engineering firm had previously submitted an application that the DEQ needed some more information, so now we're just waiting for the updated request to be submitted to DEQ. And I mean, they'd given us a date on it that was pushed out. But we should be able to get that through pretty quick, having already done the first go around.
Bulk of the work, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I don't know if anybody else has talked to him about that.
No, I probably reach out to him if I were you guys and see if there's an update.
When has DEQ been quick?
Hmm?
When is DEQ been quick?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. DEQ takes forever to process those things once they get them, so.
Yeah.
Well, didn't they tell us we won't even probably look at it for 6 months because of our schedule or something along those lines?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, once the permit actually goes, we're waiting for the site analysis for them to review that, but yeah, I don't know where that's at.
Yeah, they get together as a group and study the plan and come out with a report, and then the actual permit is based on that. But I gotta tell you, they've had a lot of pushback on some very, very reasonable proposals that have been made to them lately. And
Pushback
It's
from
kind
whom?
DEQ has pushed back on engineering
Yeah.
firms who submitted. I mean, very well documented scientific reasoning behind everything they've done, and DEQ's come back and it's arbitrarily in some cases. Arbitrarily.
It's guidance,
Lots
they
of
call
cases.
it, they call it guidance, not the rules, it's
Well,
guidance.
it's gone beyond that, just. And there is a section in their rules that says that they cannot supersede an engineer's. Unless, of course, an environmental hazard or health hazard, imminent. So, anyway, I've dabbled on and on.
Bottom line is, we've done everything that's been required of us.
Yes,
We're on track to get it approved in the time frame that we discussed. And now all we can do is wait. Is that correct?
I think it'd be
Well-
helpful if you reached out to
Yeah,
DEQ and
well-
pushed them. Or questioned them or
well, we, give on what?
on where they're at with the site analysis. So that you guys can submit the reuse permit.
Oh, we can go ahead and submit it based on the information we have.
Oh, well,
They don't have
should
to,
do that.
they're gonna, yeah, well, that's fine. I'll talk to the engineering firm and see if they're ready to.
Whatever, kickback addendum, such and such, but yours is so good. That when you submit,
The rubber stamp.
chef's kiss, right?
I don't know about.
No.
Okay, let's move on to, resolution 2026-003, approve new rate schedule.
Yes, so this is the last step in the many step process. We've done the public hearing, you guys have approved it. Now this is the rate schedule to be adopted. To make it all blessed and whatever. This is the updated language for the water bond debt service charge. We went ahead and put that final figure in there. I did put the wording here that amount could decrease throughout the year. I don't want to go in there every
Right.
month and have to update this
Right.
thing. So I did say the figure will be updated on an annual basis. So whenever I do the budget, then I'll go in, we'll do basically what we're doing right here. We do a new resolution, new rate schedule, and put that new figure in. It should be pretty quick. That was this section right here, applied to repay. That's old language from what's always been in the rate schedule. Then I went ahead and included the water standby fee here. I did want the wording to be clear regarding connection to the meter as well being a category. I know that there was a customer that said, well, you know, I have a yard hydrant, but it's a vacant land. Well, I mean, the connection has been made to the meter. So I think that's a really important part to distinguish in this thing. So I made sure that, you know, and no connection to the meter part is in there. Because, you know, it always seems like every time you write something, it's all about finding a loophole. So try to close that as much as possible. So this would be the wording on that section, and then the formal resolution that backs the actual rate schedule itself and cites it, so.
All right,
I have a question
Yeah.
on section 10, which is the ERU buyback and transfer. I don't know if the wording has to be that way, but it's really convoluted to me to understand. A reserve ERU feel occupied with no connection fee, what does that mean?
So we can't technically talk about or discuss it, but okay, so administrative fee, because like not on the agenda, and if we talk about it and we don't publicize it, technically it's not good,
But
but
you're not taking any action.
I was actually reading it the other day and I thought the same thing, so I would actually love to have that on the agenda. As a better discussion. I think that does need to be reworded. Especially with the talk of the ERU stuff coming down. So if you guys don't mind, I put that on the next agenda,
yes,
because
please.
I agree with your analysis.
How I read that is the occupied should be in quotes.
Yeah, but we can't talk about it because it's not on this agenda.
May I ask, what is ERU?
Equivalent residential unit.
And equivalent residential unit is a unit of measurement that we use nationally, actually. It's not just specific to Bayview, a lot of stuff sometimes is. It's a engineer mathematical equation to make one house usage equivalent to a commercial usage. So they do that by, like, for instance, a restaurant is, well, they count it by numbers of tables and chairs, and then they assign a value to that. So it's 1 ER for the restaurant plus 0.7 or 0.3 more times the number of tables and chairs, and it's supposed to be equivalent to what one household is using. So it goes up from there. It's like an equitable usage and charge.
And so, one thing that you'll hear about in the coming months that we spoke a little bit about, which was inspections, is we do have residents in Bayview. Most residents in Bayview only have 1 ER on their property. So that means they can't put in an ADU with full septic facilities and all of that because they only have one and that serves the house. And inspections will be occurring because there are people violating how our ordinance states how you can use your land.
Right.
And
Or
the-
suspicion.
And the ER. And so, that's kind of why it's come up here, but next month we should discuss further section 10.
And
The next item on the agenda.
we can't create any new ERUs for Bayview Water and Sewer
Right,
because it's
there's a
engineered.
moratorium.
The
He
engineer
was giving us a certain number already, and we won't go over that.
Okay.
Based on.
In 1988.
Would you approve a motion that we accept the resolution 2026-003 to approve the new rate schedule as presented and to the public and as we've discussed?
I would accept that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed,
Okay. And next month we are not opposed to the rates, just section 10.
you have to approve the whole thing, right?
That's for your, okay. Should I rescind my motion? Out of respect, obviously, I just
You don't need,
walked over, well, that's all. This isn't gonna go into effect immediately. It's not. like we have to
it doesn't
rush.
matter to me when it goes into
Well-
effect, if you're voting to approve this.
But then we can't make the change, we'd have to prove it again, so that's right.
Right, so you just
I'm running
make sure it
forward.
gets everything
I
correct
did not
before we
insult
approve it.
Dave.
That's-
Go ahead and throw
that's my
stuff
point.
at me, I'm sorry to be that way here at our board meeting, my whole. I'll rescind that motion, rescind,
Until we can discuss
Resolve
and
number 10.
number 10, section
resolve
10.
number 10, which we may need to
Okay.
do at a public workshop. Because we need to start collecting the updated fee because we have to pay the loan back. So,
Won't take-
It is what it is.
It won't take forever.
well, looky here, set a workshop date to discuss ERUs and violations.
Ding, ding,
So,
ding, winner.
everybody look at your calendars, we need to do it sooner than later.
Can't do it tomorrow because we have to post it. for public.
Next week is pretty wide open for me.
Me as well.
Tuesdays, my only day I gotta work around, but otherwise I'm open the whole week next week.
Yeah, I'm not available Tuesday.
So maybe Wednesday, the 24th. We usually do workshops at 10:30 in the morning.
Wednesday's an open office day,
Oh, that's a problem.
and
Thursday, the 25th. Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
Works for me.
I'm only available in the morning.
Well, our workshop's usually at 10 or 10:30, so. Does that work for you, Mark?
I'll make it work.
Okay. All right, so we are going for the,
10 or 10:30.
what's best for everybody, I don't care. I
10,
live 3
10.
minutes
Sooner
away.
the better, 10 o'clock.
Okay. So 10 o'clock,
And that's the
25th.
25th.
And of course. Because we live and die by the law, I'll make the motion that we set the meeting for 25th at 10.
Applying, and about how much time should I allow for that?
About an hour.
At 10 o'clock?
Yep. Been moved, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay.
2025 water quality report.
Yeah, we went over it. It's
I
just the
was
formal.
gonna say.
Yeah, it's just the formal,
Approve it.
approve it, and put it on the website and post it to the public.
So I'll accept a motion that we approve and post the water quality report.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So let it be written, so let it be written. I will tell you how old I am. All right, approve the 2024-2025 audit. I'm sure you've all read that fascinating piece of business. It appears to once again be a clear audit report, which is
Yeah.
good news.
No, I can ask, you don't have to discuss, I mean, just the phone call, you had the phone call from our auditor who asked you if you're not
Yep,
aware of this and that. everything
Yep,
wrong,
all the
blah,
things.
blah, blah, blah. And no, we're clean, we have a very good money trail through our.
we do. We do. All right, so I would accept a motion to approve the audit report for the fiscal year 24-25.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, moving on to old business.
Real quick, did he happen to talk to you about closing the sweep accounts?
No.
That's what he wanted, he was telling me, he thinks that's a very archaic process.
He did not talk to me about that,
So
so,
if he wants to do that, I'll have him email you guys directly.
okay. All right. Great, well. Moving on to old business and the Timberlake Fire District's request for land donation. They're not here, so I'm assuming that's on hold until,
Yeah, they haven't reached out to me yet, but
okay. Well, I know Kay had some information last month to give them, so they may
Checking into that.
be checking into that.
Can we comment about that? Is that
Yes, we
so?
got
Sure.
I had some conversations with some people in Bayview about this subject, trying to figure out some options. And I think it would be great to go to the fire department and suggest that they contact the sheriff's office to see if there's any likelihood, because we did this in my department, it's very common in many departments, and one of the guys that brought it up they did it in their department as well, is they have offices for officers in every firehouse. And it's usually in bigger cities and stuff, obviously, because you don't want to have to drive 45 minutes to get to the precinct to write a report, so. And then there are, storefronts and all that too, but that's not applicable here. But if, because there's funding in the sheriff's department for this kind of thing as well. And what they really should do is use the land they have, take that building down, because it's really not worth that much. It can't even support a second floor. But if the sheriff's department, the fire department could get together and get some funds to actually build a legitimate firehouse there, that's a 2-story firehouse. And the sheriff's department can have an office there, we would have the benefit of not only having a full-time manned firehouse, but deputies in town a lot more. Using the facilities and using their office there, bathrooms, kitchenette, all that kind of stuff. To me, that, I don't know if they even thought about that or considered, and I think it would be something they should.
That makes good sense, but did Cody say that the requirements are they have to build a new building? Thought I remember hearing that.
Yeah, he did. And
So whether that's
the
taking the other
issue,
one down and building a new one, is that? something-
the issue was they needed 12 more feet of land.
Yeah.
And that
If-
butted up.
If they kept the building they have and built a new building onto it, is what they wanted to do.
Oh, okay,
So,
well.
and then I asked them, what about building up?
he said-
And I
But-
later was able to go in the building and it's not, it's almost a steel shed kind of building. You can't build a second, there's no support for it. So to me, it wouldn't be that much more expensive just to take the steel building down and use the same foundation and add a foundation to it what they can and build up. Anyway.
It wouldn't cost anything to take it down.
No.
Nothing there.
Well,
But the
what,
sheriff's office would be a great avenue just to see if they can find money, because that's what they need, is more money.
Sure.
And then we would, the whole issue with our land would be moved.
I did hear him say, that they could go back, but they didn't wanna disrupt the pickleball court. And with the district
Heaven.
willing to move,
So
put
that's-
the pickleball court on our land, and then they could utilize their own land again. I mean, just a pickleball court,
They could move the pickleball court. I
yeah.
mean, the pickleball court
I
could be,
think that's what she's talking
yeah,
about.
you could move it up to the
That
top,
way
or
they
you
can
can move it.
utilize their own land,
yeah,
and the district can
parking lot.
just
Yeah.
open it up for use.
No, you don't wanna go there. You know.
Why not?
Wait.
It's stuff that gets used.
That's a good idea.
Okay, well, we should get back on
Yeah.
track with water and sewer district issues. Jesse, do you wanna go over the delinquent list?
No.
Sure. Okay. All right, so because we are so close to certification time, we have a total of 16 delinquent accounts, totaling about $5,005. Usually that amount will sit around 3,600 throughout the year. But we have a number of strictly sewer accounts that have gotten quite high. We have 8 accounts that are 6 days delinquent. And that's 8 warning letters, so they're at the first initial stages of the whole process. Then we have 7 accounts that are 90+ days delinquent, but only 2 of those are posted notices. That means that out of the 7 90+ days, only 2 of them are getting notices, and that leaves 6 pending certifications. So we have 7 that are already turned off or don't have an active meter, which is the Navy base, and that's totaling 4,081. So we're looking at a pretty active certification process this year.
Am I just not reading this right, but it says total delinquent accounts 16? And I only count 15. Was the delinquency status, the 60-day one group and the 90-day another group?
It's the 8, 6, and 2.
Well, that's not 16.
Well, some
either.
of,
Oh, no.
I can actually pull up the report, huh, let me just see.
What the heck, Jesse?
I know. Right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Let me minimize that. Here. Oh, let me see. Push that. Out of the way. Let's go over here. All right, so we have 8 of the 60, so that would be that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the 60 plus is the 9. This guy down here. And then our warning letters are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of our warning letters.
So is there 9 60-day delinquent accounts?
Yes, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, yes. There. And they're getting delinquent letters, but one of them is a certify only at 60 plus, which is why we only have one less warning letter. The warning is still 8. Even though he's a 60-day, but we don't have anything to warn him because we can't threaten him with anything.
Okay,
He's just a new sewer account that's newly delinquent, so I suspect he would probably, he, she, whoever it is, would get it taken care of. And then the rest of the 90 days, most of our sewer accounts here, you'll see, other than our new one that I just said, are all those, and they're high, you know, they're around 600 to, you know, lowest there, 277, 481, 499, so. Yeah, I would have to say that this is the most active certification period that I've seen in a while. I've always wondered why there aren't more sewer accounts that just don't pay since there's no recourse on them. I've always thought, oh, the sewer accounts actually do pretty good. But this year it does seem a little more active.
Maybe they figure it out.
Yep,
Certify it, deduct it.
yep. Well, every year it's our only recourse. What's nice though is we don't have our LID accounts anymore that are unpaid, which always spiked our certification process up. But and then yeah, we have the 2 shutoffs, which are moderately low balances. You know, we've got one at 309, one at 161, nothing big. This one was a payment plan that had not followed through, so they went straight to shut off, which is the terms of our payment plan agreements.
All right, shall we review the board action item list?
Yes. That was nice updating that one this month, as we did the rate increase and we held the public hearing, so we can call that one done. Might keep it on there since we're still gonna approve the resolution, so I'll go ahead and keep that one on there until we have 100% put a period on that one. GIS mapping, that's been underway. We actually had IRWA out here 2 days this week and made significant progress. So I just need to go back over what our engineers did for mapping, and then what IRWA did for their mapping. He said it was pretty informational. He went to a training class with a bunch of engineers in there, and he says, I can't believe how many times they do GIS maps for people and they never even step foot into their districts. He says, I had started asking them about it and then they all kind of felt on the spot. He says, but as somebody who's actually in the field doing them, how vastly different they can be from an as-built map and what engineers do without coming into the district. So there's been a lot of moving these things around, but our hydrants, our valves, all those things are all GPS coordinated. It's looking pretty good.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well,
well,
so pretty good. So then the next one is installing the Navy base meters. As you guys know, this is our next area of attack. We're going to be working with IRWA and doing the GPR locating. So that's our next one on the list here. We are still working on that cross connection control. I know there's been discussion about putting that on next month's agenda, talking
As
about
well as
backflow
backflow.
devices. Yep.
yep,
So then that would be, yep, that item 5 there, backflow devices for marinas, so. We'll be talking about that one next month. And site inspections, we talked a little bit about it this meeting as well. We're gonna go ahead and include the lead service line stuff in that, so we'll get that form finalized tomorrow and ready for inspections to fold in for those 3rd days. I don't know where we're at right now with the K Burdick's request to relocate and replace the meter. And then there's the sewer pressure sensor in the valve at the sewer land application site. That one would be, I don't know. That would be good to do this year, especially since everything's down. Yeah, you guys gotta. If you need something from me to start coordinating,
Engineering it, or do we have it engineered?
I don't even know. I don't know what it entails.
Yes,
So are you guys gonna reach out to the engineer? Or like what have we got to do to get that done? And we talk about it.
I
but-
think you've already talked, Bob, haven't you already talked to the contractor about what we want to put in?
Yeah. Remember that, it was just, we
It's, I mean, we're just talking a simple check though. So it's not a big project. And it's upstream of where our green fields are now.
We're gonna put a box up, put it in a box,
Oh,
or
yeah, oh, yeah,
and we're gonna have to run power,
no,
no.
so we
It's all-
won't have an indication
all
on the
simple.
valve.
we got it set up so you can't ever shut off both lines at once, so you can't overpressurize it. We're just, if we got the money, we're good to go.
Next item,
Approve edits for standards for public works construction. That was. Sean and I tried to explain the history on that one. But it was something,
Oh, yeah, I think it could just probably drop off and disappear into the ether of baby water and sewer district, and nobody ever, cause supposedly that is something we had to have. Approved and sent to our engineers, so we could get something done and something approved, so we could get it installed into our ground for our project. Water improvement project. Obviously, it was very, very, very important for us. Time, okay.
it's all complete. I think it was just one teeny tiny sewer residential section that needed the tweak.
It
But
would be nice to
I don't
finish
know.
this, we need to
I
finish this, we've
I don't
spent
even
so
know
much
what it
time on
was. It was something that the operators had suggested, a small tweak on the sewer residential.
okay,
So I
well,
don't
how
know.
about you
Yeah,
all
no, no,
discuss
no, no.
amongst yourselves and figure it out. And then the last thing is bylaws. We need to
Yeah,
create
that,
and implement.
yeah, that was something we thought was gonna be part of closing out the loan, and clearly it wasn't. So I don't
Okay.
even know if the district has a true desire. It could either go away if there is no desire to do bylaws.
Well, I
mean,
think
we
it's a
clearly
wonderful
closed
thing
out.
in all of our spare time.
Okay, we'll keep it on there and, yeah,
I would leave it on there because it's something we should address. There should be a standard of how our board operates within the district and what's appropriate and what's not. But with so many pressing issues to actually make our system functional, it's like the one thing that seems not front burner right now to me.
yeah. There are. Yeah, I believe that this list is in order of importance and what the district and board has been doing, and obviously why would we start at number 10? We're starting at
Yep.
1 and going down, so.
Okay, well, public comments, and before we open public comments, I want to say that I apologize in person to Kay. At the last meeting, someone raised their hand, it was Kay, and someone, and it may have been me, I need to look at the video, but I haven't, said something about the peanut gallery. And that is not the respect with which we hold our public. So I apologize very much for that, because we do value it. We have instituted our 3-minute timer, and thankfully, Mark is really good at saying, no, you can't answer that during their 3 minutes. So he had to rein me back and Jesse back at our public hearing this week. Because, no, don't be
No, thank
sorry,
you.
it's absolutely appropriate and appreciated.
Sticking up.
The reason we don't, even when it seems pertinent, allow commentary during the meeting shame on the fire guys for leaving early, because you could have just said, hey, step out with me, I have something to tell you. Is because we've spent years with meetings being derailed by interruption and that sort of thing. So we will now open to public comments with a three, yes,
With the
sir.
one comment before that.
Okay.
So the way it works the best is that if there is a question, not just a statement, that if you want to respond to that question, write it down on a pad what the question was, so you can remember it after the 3 minutes is done. When the citizen is finished with their 3 minutes, then we can address answering a question. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And especially if it's a question that's answerable. Sometimes people want immediate response on things that we actually need to think about. And so we can't be expected to immediately respond to things.
Well, I think you could respond to with,
We need.
we're gonna have to get back to you.
Right,
But they
right.
should get some sort of
Absolutely.
feedback, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm just saying they may not get their
Their answer,
specific
yeah.
answer. So with that said, do we have anyone signed up for public comments?
I didn't sign up, but one came up.
Okay, well, we would be glad to give you your 3 minutes.
Okay.
And we're gonna stick to that because even though you're our professor emeritus here on this board, then someone was mad last month because we let you talk more than 3 minutes. So your 3 minutes is now officially starting.
Okay, my question is. And I love the fire department, but they came to you wanting a 12-foot grant. And they said it was to comply with the county building requirements. Now, I don't think that is so. In their drawing, they have a 15-foot leeway that is not. We had to have a 15-foot leeway without the 12-foot next to the building. So by giving them an extra 12 foot, that would be 27 foot. So that's an awful lot of, that's a lot of leeway. And I don't think the building department is. I would like to see that regulation.
So what's your,
So anybody.
are you done, Ted?
But here's that. What they requested.
Any other comments?
Pardon?
Any other comments?
No,
What was you said you had a question. What's your question?
well, my question was, is that actually a building requirement?
And I don't know that we can answer that because
Yeah.
it's
You
not
can't.
our business.
You can't, but I would ask that of the fire department.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ted.
I think we should pull my water meter off until a later date.
Okay.
If that's possible.
Absolutely.
We can get it off your plate.
Yeah, it's just on the board action.
Kootenai
item list.
County is like.
All right, let's
I don't know if you-
go to online public comment. Has anybody signed up for online comment, Jesse?
No, I do not have any
Copy.
chat notifications, but I will go ahead and ask the first customer to unmute. If they want to ask a question, they can unmute and ask.
Cheryl? Okay, let's
Okay.
try Michael Miller.
All right.
Any public comment, Michael?
Well, they have to accept it if they want.
That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah.
haven't- They didn't accept it.
Okay, Well, with that said,
Make a motion.
I would. All right, I made a motion to adjourn. We are
Doesn't
adjourned.
even need to be second. That's one person.